Hi, this is Mike from mysolarhome.us with the 10 best portable solar generators in 2021. These portable solar generators can power small devices. If you're looking for more power, you should look at my video on the 10 best solar generators. Portable solar generators can power smaller devices like DC 12-volt fans, a car freezer, charging your laptop, possibly running the TV. The largest that they can do could possibly be a fridge or your desktop computer. In this video, we will go through the performance specifications of each of these 10 portable solar generators. Then we look at what devices each generator can power, and we'll end up with a comparison with the other generators. So stick around and let's start with our first. The smallest in our selection is the Marbero 88. It retails for $90, and as you can see, it's a pretty small unit. It comes with a built-in battery, 88 watt hours of power. The max that it can output is about 80 watts. It's got two AC outlets, so you can pretty much run two devices with two USBs, two USB QCs or fast charging, and one USB-C. Even though this is a small unit, it has a significant number of power outlets. But as you will see going ahead, not many of these units have USB-C ports. It has a traditional 12-volt DC port, and the unit weighs about 2.3 pounds. The built-in charger can charge this in 5 to 6 hours. It's possible to charge it using solar panels, which you'll have to buy extra. In terms of charging capacity, you can't expect to charge any of the larger devices, but things like your phone or your laptop, very good. 17 iPhone charges. Laptop twice. Using something like a 10 watt DC fan, you could charge it. You could use it for about 9 hours. The next in our selection is the Flashfish 151. The Flashfish 151 retails for $140. This one is significantly bigger than the Marbero 88. It's got a power capacity of 151 watt hours compared to the 88 watt hours of the Marbero. AC output is also much larger, 200 watts compared to the 80 watts for the Marbero. The Flashfish has got two AC outputs and one USB. Two DC 12-volt outputs are great to power DC powered devices like car fridge, a small fan, or even your CPAP machine. The unit weighs about 4.1 pounds. Now in terms of what it can power, because it's got a high 200 watt power output, you can potentially use this to run a fridge too, but it's not going to run for very long, maybe half an hour to 40 minutes. It could run a 50-inch TV too, again, maybe for about an hour, hour and a half. The next portable solar generator is the Dr. Prep 178. This unit retails for $107. Like the Flashfish, it's got good amount of power, 178 watt hours of capacity, and the AC output is 180 watts. Again, the number of outputs available are a little limited. There's just one AC outlet. You've got three USB ports, two are regular and one is fast charging. They're called as QC ports. In terms of DC outputs, it's got two 12-volt DC outputs. And the unit weighs about 5.5 pounds. This unit is good to charge your laptop 3 to 4 times. A 10 watt fan can run for about 15 hours. And like the Flashfish 151, a regular fridge could potentially run it for about a half hour. So between the Flashfish and the Dr. Prep, there's very little difference in terms of power. So let's look at comparing all three of them together. The three units are different in pricing. The Marbero scores, in my opinion, because it's great value. It's the smallest in our selection of three. It's very convenient to charge your devices, your communication devices, because it's got so many ports. 5 of them, 5 USB ports, including one C, 2 AC, 1 DC. So it's got a lot of ports. The Flashfish 151 and the Dr. Prep 178, they retail for about $107 and $140. They've got a limited number of USB ports. If you're looking for a little more power than the Dr. Prep or the Flashfish, may be a better choice for you. But for convenience, I'd go with the Marbero 88. Our next portable solar generator is the Expertpower 193. And since we're going, and this is slightly bigger than the ones we've seen earlier, it's 193 watt hour of capacity. The AC output is similar to the ones we saw earlier at 200 watts. And again, in this range, the number of output ports, 2 AC outlets, 2 USB with 1 USB quick charge, but no USB-C, 2 DC 12 volts outputs, and the unit weighs about 4.4 pounds. This is among the smaller units in this selection in the next set of 3 that we're going to be looking at here. This unit can power your phone. You can charge your phone 38 times with this unit. It could run your 10-watt fan for about 19 hours. You could run a TV for about 2 hours and a regular fridge for about an hour. The Flashfish 222 retails for about $190. It's got a capacity of 222 watt hours and an AC output of 300 watts, which is bigger than the ones we've seen so far. So even though its capacity is 222, it's got a higher AC output, has got 2 AC outlets as well as 2 12-volt DC outlets. So with 7 power outputs, the Flashfish 222 is ready for adventures. Its small convenience size is easy to carry on, whether you're going on a camping trip or you're going for a photo shoot. Flashfish boasts of the Flashfish. It's able to power bigger devices. For example, you could run a desktop as long as it's below 300 watts of power and run it for about an hour. You could use it to run a blender if it uses 300 watts or less. The next unit in our review is the Allwei 280. The Allwei 280 has got 280 watt hours of capacity. You'd like the Allwei 280 display. It shows a lot more information than the displays of the units we've been seeing so far, including remaining time charge and potentially how much time you could use the device for. Also shows you outside temperature and the status of the fan in the unit. With 280 watt hours of capacity and a 300 watt AC output, again, this unit can potentially be used for anything up to a desktop computer, and it'll run it for about 1.1 hours. It'll give you about 56 charges for your iPhone or your GoPro. You can run a regular TV for about 2.8 hours, a car freezer for about 7 hours. Now, if we compare the 6 units that we've seen so far, these devices are particularly useful with powering personal phones, laptops, etc. So having more USB ports is definitely an advantage. The Allwei 280 and the Marbero 88 stand out. The Allwei because it offers the fastest charging thanks to its USB-C outputting 60 watts of power. The Marbero scores because it's got 5 USB ports. You can charge a lot of devices together, including a USB-C 18 watt output USB-C, which is reasonably fast charging as well. At $107, the Dr. Prep 178 packs a decent 193 watt hours. The Marbero is the smallest, weighs just 2.3 pounds, and the bigger units, the rest of the units are all 4 pounds or over, with the Allwei topping out at 6.8 pounds. Trekpow 296. This retails at $260 and it's got a power capacity of 296 watt hours. The 350 watt AC output means the Trekpow can actually power a blender. The 6 units we saw before this were all had AC outputs of 300 watts or lower and therefore could not run blenders. With the Trekpow, you have a capacity to even run a blender. There's 7 output ports in the Trekpow 296, 2 DC 12 volt, 2 regular USBs, 1 USB-C, and 2 AC outlets. The unit weighs 6 pounds. The Trekpow can give you about 40 to 50 minutes usage on your blender if you only used it to run a blender. And it's good enough. There's enough power to charge your laptop 6 times, a CPAP machine for about 4 hours, or run your fridge for about an hour and a half. The Nexpow 296 could almost be called a cousin of the Trekpow 296. The similarity in their names is no coincidence. Both have 296 watt hours of capacity. The Nexpow has 300 watts of AC power, a little lower than the 350 watts that the Trekpow. The Nexpow has got 7 outputs, including 2 AC, 2 regular USB, 1 fast charging USB, as well as a 60 watt USB-C port, and weighs about 7.1 pounds. The Nexpow charges in about 8 hours with the included charger. Solar panels are not included in any of the portable solar generators presented in this review. The Nexpow 296 will charge your GoPro or iPhone 59 times, charge your laptop 6 times, and you could run a drone or an Xbox for about 2 hours. With 300 watt output, you could run a desktop, provided it's 250 watts or lower. Won't be able to run a blender as they use more than 300 watts of power. You have the Ecoflow 600. This unit retails at $299. This is one of the units I like a little more than the others, primarily because it's got a nice high AC output of 600 watts. It's got a power of 288 watt hours, but a 600 watt output means you can run bigger devices using it. It's also got 3 AC outlets to take advantage of that. Something else that this guy enjoys is it's got a USB-C port which is 100 watts of power, so you can charge your laptop or your Mac really quickly. And another awesome thing is you can add batteries to this. You can add an extra battery to this, and you can go from 288 to 576 watt hours. Gives you a lot of additional capacity. And this reflects all the devices it can power. As you can see here, you can go up, even use a blender in this, anything which is below 600 watts. Unfortunately, in my list, the microwave is 650, but there are some microwaves which are less than 600 watts which will run off this. So it's got decent amount of power and can run devices. The Wakyme 520 is the largest portable solar generator in our review. With a 520 watt hours of capacity is able to output 500 watts of AC. It's got 2 AC outlets. It scores a little low on the USB ports with just 3 USB ports and no USB-C. But the Wakyme has got 5 DC charging options, 4 DC 12 volt and 1 cigarette charger, which is great if you plan to run a lot of DC devices together. And it weighs 14.3 pounds, which is the most in our selection. But 14.3 pounds is really not much. The Wakyme can power a blender for about an hour and a half, but it still doesn't have enough output power to run a microwave. But because of its 520 watt hour capacity, you could run a fridge for about 2.6 hours, a small car freezer for 13 hours. You can run your TV for about 5.2 hours. Let's look at the last 4 portable solar generators together. Ecopower 288 is a clear winner at $299 with 600 watts of AC output and super fast charging and a huge number of USB ports, including a 100 watt USB-C. You're getting enormous value. I hope you like this video. Please share and subscribe. Click on the bell icon. You have a great day.